Hi, I'm buuteeeq, the CEO of buuteeeq.
And I'm Cynthia Mason, the VP of HR.
And we are both enamored, we were talking about earlier, with this product called TinyPulse that we use a lot for our culture and our HR processes here at the company. So we thought we'd do a little plug for TinyPulse because we're big fans and talk a little bit about our culture along the way. We were introduced to TinyPulse, I think about 9 months ago now. We've been using the product. It's basically a weekly survey that goes out to our entire team of about 90 employees today. And it gives you and I and some of the other managers of the company great insights into what's going on with our culture and how we as a management team and as a team defining the culture for a startup can really make an impact. Specifically, one of the first things that the tool revealed to us is one of the questions that came from TinyPulse was about our culture and whether, with eyes closed, hands tied, ears covered, could we recite from memory what our mission statement was and our corporate values were. And I myself as a founder had spent a lot of time writing such a thing, but I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. So we went off and created this cute infographic. And since then, the company has the SIGPI concept, which is an acronym that we use to remember these values. And it seems like a small thing, but it actually has been relatively transformative because it's given us a way to rally around a very specific best practice for a company like us. And I think that the key thing is it creates a dialogue between every employee and every other employee and with management and back and forth that's completely anonymous, so people are able to bring ideas that they might otherwise not feel comfortable mentioning to their manager directly or in a public meeting, an all-hands meeting, but they feel much more comfortable doing it anonymously, and really, as a result, we get very thoughtful, very actionable feedback. Cynthia, why don't you give us some examples of the many quantitative things that we've done as a result of some of the requests?
Yeah, sure. So we had many requests for to add to our benefits, and we've added several new benefits as those requests have come in, such as a 401k plan with a matching 2% from the company, which was, it happened relatively instantaneously, which was great. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as vegetarian options for Monday lunches, which we provide for the employees, bring into the office, and we had quite a few vegetarians that we were not catering to, and so just simple things like that, I think it really gives our people a voice.
Yeah, there's a Pulse, a monthly question, which is how happy are you at the company? And what's interesting about that is we see a trend over the months of that happiness volume, and it's been pretty consistent for buuteeq. But as we see someone voting with a lower score on a scale of 1 to 10, we get every once in a while get a 4 or a 5, and that's really interesting to Cynthia and I. We try to dig in and see through the anonymous information that we can see what kind of feedback was given with that score. And often we'll see some thoughtful feedback saying, this aspect of the workflow isn't happy for me, or I'm not enjoying this aspect of my job, or communication style. And these are things that we can jump on and do something about. And we may not always be able to fix it immediately, but it gives us very actionable feedback that we otherwise generally wouldn't receive. You and I were recently having a conversation about doing our first kind of formal annual reviews and having conversations with, you've been having conversations one-on-one with almost everyone in the company. And we're starting to get some feedback from the individuals that we want to take to management, to some of the team managers. And what we wanted to do to augment that was to have TinyPulse help us by getting some anonymous data to go with that one-to-one data that you had so that you would have a more complete picture. And we were literally just 5 minutes before filming this video, we were glued to the screen seeing that data coming in real time with incredibly thoughtful data points, and all of it anonymous, none of it necessarily traceable back to a specific manager. In some cases, we're able to pivot the data departmentally, so we are able to understand that this is some feedback that should go to the head of the product organization or the head of the sales organization.
For us, digging in on having the one-on-ones with the employees and getting feedback so that we can customize the questions like that, it really digs a little bit even deeper because they're not saying it to me, which they feel comfortable with, but when it's anonymous, they feel completely comfortable. So the feedback is actually pouring in, which is fantastic. For me, it's like having my own personal, trusted employee relations manager that is just out there constantly asking our employees, what can we do to improve your experience? Like
an outreach communications person, which is a lot of work to do.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. A little bit about TinyPulse, which we're big fans of, but also a little bit about our culture. Hopefully along the way you heard a little bit of how we think about our culture. And thank you for visiting our HR website, and please apply for the many jobs we have open. Always hiring salespeople and customer success people. That's a constant need for us. So if you're interested in hospitality and in a company like buuteeq, we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.